Is Silver Wolf the worst limited 5-star in Honkai Star Rail? With Silver Wolf's rerun banner approaching, there are plenty of content creators and people on various forums claiming that this might be the case. Does it have any merit, or is it all hyperbole? For those that aren't familiar with her kit, Silver Wolf specializes in debuffing enemies. She can implant a weakness via her skill on a single enemy that corresponds to one of the damage types of the characters on your team. Her ultimate does single target defense shred up to 45% at level 10, while dealing out a decent amount of quantum damage. Her talent can also randomly implant a bug on an enemy that reduces attack, defense, or speed by a small amount. When she was first released, she was considered one of the most OP supports and a mainstay in the strongest MOC teams for quite a while due to her unique skills. So what changed? Well, first of all, implanting weakness is valuable when you don't have a wide roster of characters with various elemental coverage. At the start of the game, most players, even whales, only had a handful of built damage dealers covering a couple different elements. This made Silver Wolf great when you had to fight enemies for whom you did not have an appropriate damage dealer. As the game has been out for a while now and many new characters have been released, most Day 1 players are going to have most elemental types covered by now. Once Argentia is released, we will have at least one limited 5-star damage dealer of every elemental type in the game. If you have the elemental type covered, Silver Wolf's weakness implantability becomes less valuable, and you can fill her slot with a sub-DPS or a different support unit. Since Silver Wolf's main secondary uses her defense shred, she becomes somewhat outclassed by Pela in these situations because Silver Wolf only has single target defense shred, whereas Pela can fill a similar role but with AoE capabilities. Given that the late game content meta has been focused on multi-target / AoE damage for a while, Silver Wolf has been pushed out of the top teams. So unless you're a newer player, it can seem like Silver Wolf's spot in the team can usually be more optimally filled by other characters, making her value to whales and medium spenders quite lower now than it was at the beginning of our journey. So should you pull for Silver Wolf on her rerun? If you've been playing for a while and have a wide roster of characters with good elemental type coverage, you could probably better spend your premium resources elsewhere. But if you're a newer player, she can definitely help you get through fights that you wouldn't have a chance of beating otherwise. Furthermore, if you choose to get Silver Wolf, she can allow you to invest more into single characters in the future, rather than making you feel like you need to pull for characters to cover elemental types. I started using this strategy in Genshin Impact, Hoyo vs. Other game. I pull on fewer banners and go for weapons and constellations, which are the equivalent of Honkai Star Rail's Eidolons, rather than having more units that I may not use later on. For instance, I've skipped the past several Genshin banners and just spent most of my resources for a C2 Farina as a free-to-play player, and so far it seems to be a pretty prudent decision. This strategy can be risky, however, because if you invest too much into a not-so-great character, you could regret it for some time. But if you're confident in your knowledge of the game and know which characters and weapons are going to provide the most value to your teams, this could be the best decision in the long run. Silver Wolf's value could also see a resurgence if Hoyoverse decides to take a late-game content in the direction of single, tanky enemies. There's no indication that they would actually do this since almost every difficult fight in the game so far involves multiple enemies, but I suppose anything is possible. So is Silver Wolf actually the worst limited 5-star? Personally, I don't think so, but if you're a whale, I could see why you may make this argument. At this point, I'd only recommend pulling Silver Wolf for newer players, but if you really like her design or want her for collection purposes, nobody's gonna stop you. I did try to pull for her personally the first time around, but we'll probably be skipping all the 1.5 banners, including the Silver Wolf rerun. My next target is probably Roan Mei in 1.6 because so far she's looking like a pretty strong Harmony support, but we'll see once she officially drops. Anyway, that's all for this video. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this latest Silver Wolf slander since she seems to be a bit of a polarizing character within the current state of the game. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more Honkai Star Rail discussions in the future.